So now she's cozying up with Nick and telling Nick, I need to bury my son. Yeah. Excuse me. Jamie has a lot to say. All right, hold on, my camera's off. Sorry, I don't know where that. Okay. Scooter, which one were her comments on? Did she remove them? I don't see it on the one from yesterday. Did she remove her comments? It's interesting. Let's see. Oh no, it's on this one.
Wait, no.
Hold on. No. Wait a second. That's a new one? Hold on. I don't understand. Oh, maybe what? Did you fix it? Oh.
Hi, everyone.
All right, hold on a minute. Okay, here we go. Let me pull this over. I want to start putting people on blast. That's it. And Daniel Jefferson, you're next. Tell Carolyn to check her emails in early February. Whoops, what happened, Scooter? What's going on? What happened? Where'd the comments go? Oh, here we go. Tell Carolyn to check her emails in early February 2019 when she asked me to join Critical K closed Facebook group and report back to her all the names and comments in that group. I was loyal to Carolyn for years. She has operated in the dark, really? On many of her agendas. Really? You're trying to paint me as this? Yes, I work in the dark. Darkwing Duck is, that's my role model. She is lying about me being a supporter of Cooper. Really? That's why you were on her panel last night, Jamie? Huh. I never went to that channel until last month. So you support her now. You've been there for a month. You've seen what she is, and you're there, and you went on panel. So what am I lying about exactly? When I saw Carolyn was targeting yet another creator. Targeting Natasha Cooper? Oh, okay. I think you have that wrong. You both owe me an apology for lying about me. No, I think it's the other way around. I have seen Carolyn use and discard many. Scooter, why can't we see this?
Hi, everyone.
We can't see her comments, Scooter, all the way. I'm confused. What happened? Oh, here we go. Both women apologize. I've seen Carolyn use and discard many subs. Oh, really? Oh, you've used and discarded them? Okay. Target many other creators? Really? Okay. Does Carolyn want to apologize to me on a live and admit that she asked me to spy on Critical K, or does she want me to release the emails? I'd like you to come up here and I'd like you to release the emails and I'll release the text. How about that? I'll release the Facebook. You will release what you said. You said I friended you with my personal Facebook profile, right? You said the very next day that you were on panel and I asked you to spy in the group for me, correct? Let's see it. Scooter says, why are you asking me? I don't speak for Carolyn. Carolyn says she has too many emails. And let's look at this lie. You are her main researcher? No, I think you've got the wrong channel. I don't have a research team, Jamie, and nobody else other than me is in my email. So you think you're mixing me up with Natasha Cooper, which is why you're thinking about the dark side. Thought you could let her know to stop lying about me and apologize. Jamie, okay. Then I said, Jamie, when did I say that? Proof? I don't have any researchers. You were thinking of Natasha Cooper. J-May, do you know how ridiculous you sound? Why would I need you to do that? Do you know how many people gave me their username and password to that Facebook group so that I could collect screenshots for the family? You probably didn't. You probably didn't. It is obvious. Do you know how many people sent me the screenshots in there? I have files of screenshots from that group. I could get in that group anytime I wanted. I'm surprised you didn't know that. Oh, here's JJ. Here she goes. Here she comes. Then why did you ask me? Really? I never have you my username and password. I never have you my username or password. So you admit into spying on other creators for years? Ooh, is that spying? Is that espionage? Ooh, J-May, I am dangerous, that I am trying to help a victim's family, right? I am such a sinister being. Yes, you're right. Trying to hold them accountable for defaming a murdered woman and her children. They were saying the most horrible things about. I'm such a bad person, J-May. You are spinning and devolving into a cult of clueless crafting misfits. Oh, yes, we are. Your lives are disorganized, unprofessional, hackneyed billboards of your lies and delusions. You are no better than the other junk drama channels. Comparing yourself to the least common denominator is not a good look. It's not a good look for you, J-May, what you're doing. But good.
Hey guys, once again, we don't have to say like which channel or anything. It's Alice. But I think it's really interesting when one of the scumbag attackers exposes herself for what she's doing. And did you hear her excuse? And yes, I call her a scumbag attacker because she has posted bullshit videos attacking, targeting both Cindy Watts and me. So she gets the nickname scumbag attacker. Did you hear what she said? That it's okay, evidently, to use other people's passwords and to go in to other people's groups to collect screenshots and pass them on to the family. So I think that we have found the person who one of the family members was saying was harassing him. Remember when he stood at the end of the driveway and told the reporters that were gathered there that he and his family were being harassed because people were sending him screenshots of things on social media. He said that he and his family were not on social media at the time, but people were sending him screenshots of some of the content on social media, right? Well, there you go. That was simple. So how about she stops harassing the family, evidently, by, sending them screenshots. And her claim that people are defaming a murdered woman and her children, I have never seen anybody defaming a murdered woman and her children. No matter how many groups or, I don't know, on which platforms, no matter how many little groups she sneaks into, and no matter how many comments she takes screenshots of and sends them off to the family, it doesn't make it defamation of a murdered woman and her children. That's one thing I notice about the case of Christopher Watts, the discussions, and I'm doing air quotes, is there are a whole lot of scumbag attackers trying to redefine certain words. And defamation would certainly be one of those words, just like harassment. The case of Christopher Watts is a true crime case that's on the public stage. people do have the right to discuss the case, and they also have the right to have an opinion other than Alice's opinion on any case. But evidently, when Alice doesn't like somebody else's opinion, then she likes to twist and turn it to say that she's just helping a family. Really? Well, Bella and Cece's grandmother is family. So is she helping Bella and Cece's grandmother when she posts videos attacking her? Or is she thinking that she's helping somebody else? Another channel today posted a video. Oh my goodness, it was like 7 or 8 hours long. And in part of it, they're saying that all these people, all these nasties, you know where they come from. They come from Miss Mensa's channel. Like, really? So I posted, when that was brought to my attention and I heard it with my own ears, I posted a comment saying, if you would like the actual truth, or if you care about the actual truth, or something like that, or if you actually care about the truth, or whatever, I put my email address. And I thought it was interesting. My comment was deleted within minutes, which tells me they don't actually care about the truth. So there you have it. Now, what else does this tell me? Well, we've seen an increase, right? We've seen a little amping up here with the scumbag attackers recently, haven't we? Parallel to quite a few people going, hey, wait a minute. There was a gray truck at the house? Could it have been moving day? There was a truck at the house at 5:15 a.m.? That truck was still at the house at 6:45 a.m.? That truck was still at the house at 12 noon? Before the police were called? Or before the police arrived? Who was staying at the house? Who stayed the night? Did they stay the weekend? How many people were there? Where did they sleep? Who was watching the girls? Who was supposed to be watching the girls? Was Christopher Watt's wife supposed to be there? Was it moving day? I think it was. I think it was moving day. And I think the scumbag attackers, the handful of them, who are in charge of, watching what we say, I think they're making their little phone calls and sending their little screenshots and saying, oh no, they're talking about the gray truck over on Mensa's channel. Oh no. And I think that they've been busy little beavers ever since. I don't think there are, I think there are a few people who don't want us talking about moving day. And I've noticed it in the comment sections too, with some of the comments that have been posted on the channel. It's like, whoa, wait a minute here. These comments are identical to what were posted in 2018. Threatening to find my location, to find my, whatever it's called with the computer and stuff. Like, really? That's old news, dipshit. That's old news. But isn't it interesting that we're talking about moving day? We're finding out about the gray truck. And then kaboomers. We've got a bunch of scumbag attackers amping it up again. I wonder if they work on some sort of a retainer. Or I wonder if they're just recruited because they're just kind of deranged or something and they sign up for it. I don't know. Or I wonder if they just kind of, sneak into those groups and take their screenshots and try to kind of use that information to try to get closer to the family, because they know that when they can have the family on their channel, then there's a really good chance they might get some super chats, or somebody might buy their merch, or somebody might be watching the videos and they can make money off their commercials. Is that what their motive is? Is that what their agenda is? Because we've watched over 3 years while they failed to really discuss the case. Christy says, others have talked about the gray truck. Yes, Christy, but they have also provided a parallel narrative, haven't they? They've provided a parallel narrative. Oh, it must have been the girlfriend. Oh, he must have, committed the nasty because he was in love with some coworker who we barely knew. Yeah, sure. Others have talked about the truck, yes. And they're very quick to run with the parallel narrative that everything's got to be NK. Well, maybe it was moving day. Yes, Christy, not only are we helping them, exactly, good point, but also they take our words. They literally take our words. It's like those little robbers. The part that is bad, seriously, is if we just take our discussion to a private group, then what happens to the narrative? Then pretty much it shifts over to everything's NK's fault and CW is a monster and his wife was some kind of saint. If we just keep our discussion in a private group, then who on YouTube is talking about poor little Bella and Cece? If we're not here, who is talking about Bella and Cece? Who is talking about that Santa video and that Wackadaddy video and the water in the eyes video? Who's asking the questions, right? Who drove the gray truck? Where'd the red truck go? How many people were there? Who was supposed to be watching the girls? I'm thinking that if that truck was NK's truck or anybody associated with NK, that proof positive would have been brought out and it would have been in discovery. I'm thinking that in 2018, it pretty much became obvious to anybody discussing the case that NK didn't have anything to do with anything. She was doinking her coworker. End of story. Cali Girl says, careful, MM. SW allows who gets into heaven. Well, thankfully for us Christians, Cali Girl, that is not how it works. I think it was moving day, you guys. A few live chats ago, I brought up the HOA dues routine. And I said, isn't it odd that they didn't take care of that as soon as they were noticed up for the hearing? They just let it ride? That tells me that they were planning on skipping out. I think it was moving day. I think it was moving day for Christopher Watt's wife. I don't think it was moving day for Christopher Watts. I don't think it was moving day for Bella and Cece. I think it was moving day for Christopher Watt's wife. And I don't think she wanted to go along with that plan. Cali Girl says, where would she go with zero money? I think she had one option, Cali Girl. One option. Purple Goddess likes my noisy keyboard. Good, Purple Goddess. Because my keyboard is noisy. I think she had one option. And I think that was to return, as Sandy puts it, to her mom and daddy's house. What do you mean by moving day? I think that it was the day that Christopher Watt's wife was to move out of the house. I think the marriage was over at least since December of 2017. In my opinion, the marriage was over during the 32nd week of the pregnancy with Bella. I think Christopher Watts and Bella and Cece were going to stay in the home until such time as he either sold it or figured out, and it wouldn't have taken him long to figure it out, that he could have been just fine there financially without a spouse who was stocking up on products from multiple MLMs. Paul says, why moving day? If it was moving day, was she planning a trip to Aspen? I think the question there, Paul, is why was she planning a trip to Aspen? No matter what day it was. I think that the hearing that was coming up for the ongoing family matter would have sealed the deal. I think life was moving forward for the Watts family, and I don't think that Christopher Watts' wife decided to go along with the plan. Cindy Watts told me that Christopher Watts told her that his wife said to him, I'll make you pay for this, and you're never going to see the girls again. That sounds like it might have been moving day. Isn't it convenient to blame some receipt from a restaurant? And think about it. Why would he have all of a sudden used his own credit card or whatever to pay for dinner for two? Well, if he thought it was moving day on Monday, and if he thought that the split had already been achieved, then that tells me that on Saturday, he thought he was already a free man. I don't think there was any confrontation about any restaurant receipt. I think on Saturday he already was living the life of a bachelor. I think over the summer he was already living his life as if the split had been achieved. And I think the split had been achieved. The end of June, when she was accompanied to North Carolina by her father. I think the split was already achieved when she told a young hairstylist that she was getting divorced and looking forward to being single again in early July. I do not believe there was any confrontation about any receipt for any restaurant. I don't believe it. I think the confrontation came after Christopher Watts left for work that morning. I think that Christopher Watts' wife decided she didn't want to have to leave behind basically the house. Because the house represented her stage for what was, in my opinion, her delusion. Just imagine in a divorce action if Christopher Watts and the girls were just fine, even at the house or at a 2-bedroom apartment, either way. What would that have done to her? Say hi, Bella. Videos. Name anybody in her life she would have been happy to have said, oh yeah, Chris got custody of the kids. Yeah, I get to see them an hour a week under supervision. That would kind of take away a lot of her stories, wouldn't it? You know how she had to have her juju juice to take care of the monsters, or how she had to take them to the emergency room. And think about this. If my theory is correct, and it was moving day, and it was yet another move forward toward divorce and custody of the girls going to Christopher Watts, what would have happened in her mind, in Christopher Watts' wife's mind, with the whole medical routine? Remember how the girls both just flourished in North Carolina? Well, just imagine after the split, if the girls, gee golly, suddenly didn't have asthma. Gee golly, suddenly didn't have any symptoms of familial Mediterranean fever. What if they suddenly stopped having all their stomach problems? What if they suddenly didn't show any allergic reactions to anything? What if they suddenly put on a bunch of weight and their hair grew long and thick and they started talking in full sentences and they started smiling and laughing and reading and writing and singing and playing like children do? Wouldn't that have been an interesting observation for any one of their acquaintances to note if two little girls who had been sick on a monthly basis for years were suddenly healthy and not sick at all? You do realize it's a serious crime to medically abuse a child, right? Well, what if? What if moving day would have meant that Bella and Cece weren't sick again? Hey, Samantha. Samantha's here, everybody. Okay, Samantha, road report. Well, we wait for Samantha's road report. She's a slow typist, by the way, but that's okay. She's pregos, so she can be slow. Now she's laughing, so it's screwing up her typing. So she's going to be even slower. Oh, now she's laughing out loud. She's like, Mensa, stop it. I'm not a slow typist. So while Samantha's trying to figure out the keyboard, while she's laughing, that whole Munchausen by proxy thing, I think, is huge with this case. Because I also think Christopher Watts was going to be getting full custody. And I think the girls would have been absolutely healthy. And I think it wouldn't have taken long at all for Cindy Watts to be able to discover exactly what had been going on. Cindy Watts is no dummy. She already had her suspicions. She already watched while her daughter-in-law stood there laughing when Cece had a mouthful of chocolates. The same chocolates that Christopher Watts' wife had been telling Cindy for a long time she was, definitely allergic to and severely anaphylactic and all that crap. There she is. Samantha says, hey, Jeanette. And then she says, you make me laugh, Mensa. Me and baby are fine. Good, good, good. So you have a few more weeks to wait, and then we get to hear the screaming baby? I think last week you said 5 more weeks. So you'll have a New Year's baby maybe. Or after the New Year's. Sapphire says that thing that Cindy knows, she should speak up. Well, I think kudos for her, whether she speaks up or not. I think that it probably is information that should have been shared with law enforcement, in my opinion. But I'm not sure it belongs on social media. I think it is important to know that according to Cindy, she does have very private information about Christopher Watts' wife's life. And in my opinion, that might help explain why it is that so many scumbag attackers like the one we listened to at the beginning of this video have been targeting her. I know it, Samantha. I know. My mom said that with my first at the hospital. This was back in the day where we had insurance companies that actually, and doctors that actually wanted you to stay in the hospital like 3.5 days, right? And we got waited on. It was great. And my mom said, get a good night's sleep tonight, honey, because you aren't going to get any sleep for the next 18 years. Of course, nowadays in the hospital, they say, come on, let's go for a walk. Paul is asking, did Jamie ever do the podcast with Banana? I'm not sure. I don't know. I never went behind their little paywall. I do think it would be very interesting for Jamie to speak out about the photos that she found taken of one of her children. Yes, if you can kind of save up some of that sleep, Samantha, definitely do. So you're staying in the hospital until baby comes? Sandy says she doesn't believe so, Paul. Callie Girl says, why are all of the R's on social media? Good question. Exactly, Sandy. If Christopher Watt's wife actually took photos of a child in the way that those photos were described, that's information that we should be hearing, and Jamie should be telling us what she saw. And if that's true, why didn't she call the police? I didn't realize that, Samantha. I didn't realize that. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. I hope that you like to read. Man, I don't know. Maybe you should join an MLM and, spend 24/7 on social media trying to join every support group you can find so you can promote MLM products and build your downline and, win a car. That must be kind of hard, really, to be on bed rest for that long. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Does that mean we're going to do a live chat every day? What do you think, guys? I think we should do at least a short one, as many days as we can, so that we can make sure Samantha's not getting too bored with her feet up. Yes, Kelly girl, she'll be rich. Samantha, we have a career goal for you. You'd be just a shoe-in, right? Like you would be so good. And then when the baby comes, like maybe you could do a labor and delivery room video, say hi, baby. Say hi. And then you could talk about how the products made your delivery so easy and all that, right? Sapphire saying, where are you from, Samantha? Don't answer, Samantha. Keep moving forward says, let's support Samantha. Yes, let's definitely give her a diversion. We'll try daily, Samantha, if we can. It may not be every day, like yesterday. Oh, MG, yesterday was a wild day, let me tell you. Samantha says UK. Ooh, Cali girl, good job. Yeah, maybe Frankie Jr. could do a GoFundMe for Samantha. That's okay, Sapphire. I just wanted to say it quick in case Samantha answered you without thinking whether or not she should. A lot of people ask, and when I see it, then I jump in quick if I catch it. Elizabeth is laughing. I think Elizabeth would be your first customer, Samantha. She thinks it's funny now, but boy, oh boy. I bet if you could teach her how to change her life. You'd have to get into getting those printed t-shirts though, right? You could like get a little baby t-shirt that says, you got this. Ooh, Sandy makes a good point about the blankets. Samantha, one thing, if you're going to do the MLM thing and turn kind of weird, you can't do the blanket thing, okay? Promise us you won't do the blanket thing. Keep moving forward says, then we all can be boss babes with side hustles. There you go. Manifold says, med fever done. Lupus inflected that test away lest no one knows what tests you need. Crappy keyboard. Paul says, cookies and cream or birthday cake? And whichever one you choose, I'll go with the other one just to, harm your self-esteem. Samantha says she hates being on her phone these days. Uh-oh. Well, I think if you just kind of sign up and then harass people on social media, you're good to go. Ooh, good idea, Sandy. Samantha, Sandy has a good idea. You need to make a vision board for the baby. And you guys can put laptops on your vision board anytime the baby tells you she's hungry. Oh, you want a laptop? What do we do when we want something? We put it on the vision board. Cali Girl says, I'd buy a caffeine-coated Band-Aid from Samantha because I need to clean the house by 4 a.m., scrub, take the girls to school, do the laundry, go grocery shopping. Let's break that down, too. Wasn't it the closet she was always cleaning by 4 a.m.? I think she had a closet cleaning fetish. We should check the moon cycle and see. Was that only when the moon was full that she had to clean that closet again? And don't get me wrong. I think she had some interesting stuff in her closet. Samantha says, do you think I should do Baby Wise? Well, I think what you should do, Samantha, is pretend that you do Baby Wise. Because, it's the cool thing, right? So pretend that you do. Even though you don't really know anything about it or plan to do it, just say you do it. Yeah, go to the post office, too, when the baby's sleeping. I hope you have a lot of locks on your interior doors, Samantha. Sapphire says she had nothing to clean. Yeah, if we break it down a little bit, I have a feeling it was Christopher Watts doing the laundry, right? Paul says, yes, Kelly, you could do more than 95% of the other women out there. Kelly Girl says, yes, I can, Paul. And I bet you Kelly Girl's husband has game. And I bet you Kelly Girl's husband isn't a loser. And I bet you Kelly Girl's kids aren't monsters. Manifold says, trying to say, why didn't her test for lupus ever show? I'm angry. I downplayed my struggle. Manifold is bringing out a really good point. There are so many things about this case that kind of pisses people off, If you're a nurse, like we have Nurse Tara, right? Nurse Tara actually went to school. College. Nurse Tara actually made it through the nursing program. Nurse Tara actually busted her butt and shined. She truly shined. Nurse Tara has been working for years to help people. Nurse Tara's a nurse. So when a case like this comes along and we're told, oh yeah, she was a retired nurse, that pisses off real nurses. It really does. When we dig in just a little bit and find out that was a total lie. An absolute lie. Oh, she was so successful? Really? She was successful at walking away from 70 grand in debt. I guess if you want to measure success in that way. She was successful at marrying somebody with a decent credit rating, enough to be able to get another house, because my hunch is she was probably about ready to lose the first one. It is. It's an insult. And that was my point, Sapphire. is there so many things about this case, even if you've had a child with asthma and then you watch some of these videos and you just get pissed. If you actually do have lupus and you watch some of these videos and you just get pissed. How many lies did we have to hear before we finally went like, okay, this is BS? And we're the bad guys because we're calling out the BS? I wonder if Alice thinks it's defaming a murdered woman and her children to find out that she was never a nurse. Or I wonder if Alice thinks it's defaming a murdered woman and her children to find out that while she called herself a stay-at-home mom, and while she did stay at home, the children were at the daycare center full time. Is that defaming a murdered woman and her children? No, of course not. There's no such thing, by the way. Yes, Callie, a very limited vocabulary. Manifold says, thank you for pointing me out. I did have a test that was outside of my ethnicity. Sorry. I'm reading. I'm slow tonight. Did my thought she was. I don't know what that means. Yes, 500,000 ums. Didn't we count 81 in one video? I think it was 81. She had a very limited vocabulary. And so did Bella and Cece. Successful? Thriving? Mini mansion? Are you kidding me? You know, they always call us old hags, right? So we may as well admit it. We weren't born yesterday. Christopher Watts probably didn't get any sleep. Cleaning, cooking, taking care of the kids, doing the laundry, and working full-time to support his wife's spending habits. Good point, Paul. No lupus mentioned in the autopsy. No hint. I think the word healthy was used, wasn't it? Right along with that BAC, the elevated BAC level. What was it? 0.128 or 0.0128 or whatever. However. Sandy says the way the ums, in other words, were sometimes pronounced, almost like an accent that came and went as it pleased. Chameleons do that. Didn't she have one video where she said something about how I'm not from the South? Really? No hobbies at all. Not even a car of his own to tinker on. Callie Girl, I think there was some sort of a mention of something in her neck. I'm not sure, but I think they did mention something, yet they didn't mention any scar at all. Which brings us back to the comment, check the knives. I think it was moving day. Yes, there was the scar on her neck and the scar on her head, both. Yes, mow the lawn with a child on his back. What's that tell ya? Well, to me, that tells me that somebody wasn't supposed to be alone with the kids. Yes, Sandy, on the forehead. Manifold says, please forgive me for saying this, but some say lupus is invisible. Should I send some photos? It's invisible on paper. Manifold, do you go into the sunshine all the time? Are you a sun worshiper? Yes, Andy, the scar on her forehead from her car accident? Another strange thing worth mentioning. What really happened with that car accident? Didn't she have one of the kids in the car with her at that time? Kelly Girl says she wasn't supposed to be out in the sun. Manifold also, so Manifold said nope about the sunshine. Also, if you were like best buddies with somebody who wanted to sell you caffeine-coated Band-Aids and you checked with your doctor if that would be something that he would think that would be a good idea for somebody with lupus, what do you think your doctor would say? Oh, I didn't know that, Purple Goddess. I thought he mentioned the neck scar too. Interesting. Callie Girl says that I sound just like her when I say hi, Bella. Come on, Bella, say hi. Bella. Bella, say hi. Oh, these monsters. Sapphire says that lupus shows up as a red butterfly rash on your face, and sun is a no-no. Never saw that on her face. I saw it in one photo. I did see it in one photo. Well, she was right out in the sun, you know. Callie Girl's laughing until she cries. Hold on, Cece. Hold on. Hold on, gotta take a picture. Yeah, I know you're falling head first down the stairs. Hold on. Yeah, mommy's having a baby, girls. And then right on cue, yay. Hair clips for Bella from the dollar store, it looked like. Wasn't that so sad the way she wanted to just hug her clips, her hair clips? She didn't want them in her hair. I bet you. She was sitting there hugging her clips thinking, I wonder how long I'm going to be able to hold on to these babies. And Callie Girl's husband, who does have game, is looking at her like she's crazy. Oh, of course she had rosacea. There's another one for you. She says at this point, who can't see the truth? I think a lot of people are seeing the truth, and I think that's why the scumbag attackers are amping up their little efforts. Purple says, where are the photos from the birthday party at the aquarium? Where are any of the photos, right? Take a look at the video from Cece's third birthday party, too. I think it might have been Paul. I think it was Paul pointed out that looked like it was at a daycare center, too. Sapphire had hair down to her butt with one T when she was 4 years old. Exactly. We have a lot of moms and dads in this discussion group, right? We know damn well that by the time you're 4 years old, you should have hair. And what was with Cece's hair? She was 3. She was 3 and she had like 0 hair. Where were the school photos? And where is Christopher Watt's wife's graduation photo? We've been asking to see that for a long time. Callie Girl says, I was born with more hair. Exactly. Sandy says that grandma kept cutting it off, but I think that mama kept cutting it too. I think she did a video even of doing a haircut. Yeah, she did, because we have a photo of it, right? And don't forget that one video where she was dealing with a fussy Bella and she said, "Do you need a haircut?" Sandy says she didn't cut her son's hair until he was 6 years old. It was to the middle of his back. Cool. Curly, super curly blonde hair. That's cool. Hey, Mrs. Fluffer. All right, Mrs. Fluffer's here. My hair was super curly yesterday. Super curly. I don't have to look at any weather report, by the way. I just have to look at how my hair is after my shower. And you guys who have curly hair know I'm right. We can tell you whether or not it's going to rain. Pixel says, mine was shoulder length at 4 years old, washed and detangled, brushed with love, and much thicker. My mother had 5 other children as well. Oh, here goes a phone call. Hold on just 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm back. I just said your timing is funny. I'm doing a live chat. And he said, oh, okay, call me whenever. Oh, Cali Girl says, you're a hot mess. Really? Oh, I like that. Mockumentary. I like that, Paul. I call it a docudrama, but I think I might take your word there. Mockumentary. Paul says, even that Netflix mockumentary backfired. All that sex talk, gross. Came across as completely unstable and they were picking out the best bits. Exactly. I told you guys how people said to me now, which one of them killed the kids? After watching the Netflix mockumentary. That's a good word, Paul. Callie's husband is laughing because I'm saying he's got game. Answer us honestly, Callie Girl. Have you ever said, my husband's a loser? Or have you ever said, my children are monsters? Aww. Sandy said she saved a lock of her son's hair. Aww. Ooh, Munchausen, a generational curse. That's a good point. You know, maybe when she was going to the doctor a gazillion times when she was a teenager, maybe she thought, ooh, I like this attention. Yes, Pixel, barometer hair, exactly right. When it was exceptionally curly, I thought, oh, crap. That means snow and rain. PM, you're exactly right. It is so sad to think that Bella was telling her teacher how she dreamed of having long hair. Isabella says, purple. The meds couldn't have helped either if SW was already cutting it. Yes, Sandy. When they were in NC, you could tell that Bella's hair wasn't being trimmed. Or if it was being trimmed, it was growing just fine. Aw. Purple says that Bella dreamed of having hair as long as Rapunzel's. Aww, that poor baby girl. Mrs. Fluffer says her hair was cut. I think she wanted Bella to look like a boy. Maybe she thought Bella was prettier than she was or something. Sandy says that Netflix... Oops, I'm clicking on the wrong one. Hold on. Ah! I lost it. Sandy says that Netflix crap show really made her look awful. What were they trying to prove? I think they were trying to make her look really good. And I don't think they achieved their goal. Ooh, Purple Goddess says my husband is a weirdo. I wonder if Purple Goddess is an MLMer. Because you know, some of the MLMs tell you to get a husband that supports your MLM. Maybe that's what she was looking for when she was looking for Christopher Watts. Maybe. I wonder if he'd be supportive of my MLM habits. Samantha makes a really good point. Samantha says she wanted her to look ill. Kind of the gypsy routine, I think. I agree. Wench is super excited to be here. Woohoo! Did you clean your closets, Wench? Before 4 a.m.? When anybody says they're super excited, I figure they're, you know, waking up before 4 a.m. to clean the closet. Sandy says that Bella looked like she gained weight in North Carolina. I think she did look like she gained weight, didn't she? And then her autopsy, I think, said 42 pounds. And I think Cece was like 39 or 40 pounds. So I wonder if Bella was a lower weight than Cece for the most part until she got to go to North Carolina and actually eat something other than pizza and noodles and marshmallows. Sandy says that Bella looked so happy when she was dressing as Ariel and had the long red wig. So sad. Yes, the sick look. The sickly child. The hero mother, right? Oh, Purple. Okay. I didn't know that she said that. Purple says that Christopher Watt's wife said that he was a weirdo. And he chose her. I think it was a control thing, and I think it was punishment. I think it was like even more than punishment. I think it was really mean. Very mean. Mrs. Fluffer says, Sandy, it doesn't make it thicker at the roots. Wait, you can't change hair density. It just makes it look less stringy, usually. Interesting. Yes, confusion in her eyes. Kelly Girl says, OMG, never. Yes, Sandy said Bella had color, didn't look so pale in North Carolina. And she was actually smiling and happy looking, right? But then did you see that trampoline thing where she did her, and had to sit down and all that? And her mom was like, oh, Bella can't jump. It's like she was training Bella how to be unable to function, I guess. Wench says, I have just been Doing my usual, not too much and not too little. I am glad I caught this live. I was going to teach and say, are you manic today? Are you going to make videos? And talk about cleaning your closet by 4 a.m.? Sandy says, have you guys had the chance to watch Lula Rich? You will cringe at the similarities. Is that the LuLaRoe group? Let's see what we see. Lula Rich. Breaks down the fall of a clothing giant. Ooh, interesting. Well, you know she was in LuLaRoe, right? PM says that she thought that after watching the Netflix show that Christopher Watts' in-laws would be complaining about it, and then she found out they were in on it. Yep, and it, seems pretty obvious that Netflix brought the best forward, right? And even then, people were calling me saying, now, which one of them killed the kids? Yes, the midnight sandwiches. Yes. That's one way to make sure that Christopher Watts never got any sleep. You know that sleep deprivation is a common component of abuse, right? That's one way that abusers can better control their targets, is to make sure they interrupt with their sleep. Purple Goddess is asking an interesting question, you guys. If SW's hair was cut the same way when she was young, why would Bella's hair be, or why would Bella be protected at the R's home? Well, maybe if Christopher Watts' wife was using cutting Bella's hair as a very negative, mean way of hurting Bella, maybe she wouldn't have been doing it in front of others. Manifold says, night, folks. I'm just saying, where did, if that's what she said, it's called a stupendous. No one can find test info. Night. I'll just say, Manifold, I don't think she ever had lupus. I don't think she ever had fibromyalgia either. I don't think she had high-risk pregnancies. I don't think she had celiac disease. I don't think she had any of the crap that she claimed she had. And I think the autopsy kind of supports my theory. Wench says, poor Bella. She always seemed cautious and nervous. And according to Cindy Watts, poor little Bella was afraid of everything. Sandy says, Mrs. Fluffer, that's what I thought. Or she may have said, Mrs. Fluffer, that's what that's what I thought. Or maybe, that's what I thought. I don't know which way. Cali Girl wants MM to make a video on how to make boiled eggs. She even says, please. Well, I suppose I could. I know that that is something that a lot of you don't know how to do. That would kind of turn this into a cooking channel, though, if everyone found out that I was an expert on boiling eggs. So I have to think about that career move, Cali Girl. I'm thinking of moving into the MLMs, quite frankly. Maybe we could just talk about it. I don't know, though. The cooking channels seem to be pretty profitable, don't they? And I know you guys are probably seriously in need of some instructional, or what was it she called those recipes? Directions. You're probably in need of some really good directions. Ooh, Secret Weapon says that she had similar done to her as a child. I'm sorry, Secret Weapon. So I wonder if you can look at this case and then recognize certain things that maybe a lot of people don't see. Samantha says, classic Munchausen by proxy is malnutrition and hair cutting, also daily overdose. Well, there were 3 top things. I think we got it off of the Mayo Clinic website, right? What was it? Poisoning, which would be like the meds and everything, right? Like stomach problems and stuff from, I think they even said malnutrition, which is basically like giving them crap food that makes them feel sick. And then smothering. Isn't that interesting? Smothering. So we watch these videos and we see all sorts of different things that make us go, whoa, wait a minute. That looks like Munchausen by proxy going on. And then the girls are smothered? Really? Pixel says that Christopher Watts was shocked at the policeman's suggestion that they may have walked to the swimming pool. Like, how could that have happened, right? Well, think about moving day. Dolo says that Bella's hair, Christopher Watts' wife's eyebrows, and Christopher Watts dressed in an Easter outfit that matched the girls, or do you mean his wife, I think? That matched the girls' dresses got me hooked on the case in an instant. Yep, she was afraid of the rain, Paul, and the dirt, and the dog, and all sorts of other things. Wench says, I just couldn't do that 4 a.m. cleaning. Yeah, I don't think she could either. Brooke says, my first impression of SW was that she looked extremely robust and healthy for having that long list of health challenges. I agree with the friend Jeremy who said that he didn't think any of her health challenges were physical. Paul says the loopy one. Oh my goodness. Mrs. Fluffer, that's terrible. That is terrible. Purple Goddess says maybe Bella started telling her teachers. Good point, Purple Goddess. And just think about the moving day theory. If it was moving day, meaning it was time for her to vacate the premises, she would have known that the kids would have been healthy from that point forward, I think, right? If we're spot on about the whole Munchausen by proxy thing. Paul says, you're forgetting fertility issues. Y-O-U-R. Yep, she had fertility issues, all right. Oh, my goodness. That's terrible, Mrs. Fluffer. Oh. Yes, wench, a well-nourished female. Got to have that drive-through chicken. Yes, Sandy. Exactly right. Fried chicken, fried in peanut oil. Exactly right, Sandy. The other Sandy. One of the other Sandys. We have a few Sandys now. Let's see here. The other Sandy says, Paul, the claimed fertility issues are a slap in the face to those who have real fertility issues. Exactly. And they're also just so stupid on their face, period, because they were married 4 months and she got pregnant with Bella. you don't even have to have fertility issues to be able to listen to those details and go, bullshit. DG says the eggs can't have a green ring. Ooh, Samantha wants me to sign up for her MLM. I'm thinking yes, Samantha. Go ahead and sign up for like 12 MLMs and then just count me in. Because I want you to teach me how you have become so successful. I want to be an MLMer too. Secret Weapon says, I love watching recipes. And not just me, Samantha, but I think everybody here wants to be on your downline. And then you can be 35th from the top. And then we can have like texting, we can call them like business meetings. And then we can text each other every morning. And then we can plan weekends where we can get away from the hubs and the kids. And we can just like hang out and drink alcoholic beverages. We can call it work. And then we can tell everyone to give us any receipts they have so we can deduct it all from our taxes as if we have any income from our MLMs to be deducting anything from in the first place. Yes, Paul, a sure sign of fertility issues. She was pregnant when Bella was 10 months old. She got pregnant with Cece. Yep, she had fertility issues, all right. Purple says that her husband is a prince. Good. Good. I bet he's got game too, just like Cali Girl's husband. Manifold says, yes, crappy keyboard. I look at those Sun Life videos. I burnt muscle tissue? What? Mowing the lawn. My face. I wonder if Manifold is like some kind of a bot. Secret Weapon says, mine chopped off my long hair to my ears at 10. Aw. Do you guys know what I mean when I say bangs? Back when I was a kid, little girls had bangs. And I remember my mother, oh my gosh, she would cut my bangs and they'd be slanted just a little bit up, just a little bit of a slant to it. So she'd cut them again and then it'd be slanted just a little bit up. Well, you obviously, you know, after being a mom now yourself, right? Because we never wanted our bangs to be really short, but our moms wanted our bangs to be really short. So that whole slant thing was just part of the game. Pixel says, Cali Girl, got it. Being facetious regarding SW teaching us anything truthfully. Oh, Sandy says, even the poor dog was inside the sleeve of a sweater trying to get out while she took a video. Paul says she called him a weirdo and a loser, but will be judging us all at the pearly gates. Yeah, right. Secret Weapon says, I really wish this had gone to trial. I absolutely believe it is my opinion, absolutely, that had this case gone to trial, the jurors would have voted not guilty. Purple's going to go call her nieces for the birthdays. Are they twins? Very cool. Very cool. Exactly. If she was up at 4 a.m., why couldn't she make some lunches? That kind of tells you something too, doesn't it, when he's making his own lunches? And I'm not saying that people shouldn't make their own lunches, but I mean, he did everything. For Pete's sake, what didn't he do? Mrs. Fluffer says, my mom cut my hair like a boy. Yes, it was 1983. But still, I hate all my kid pictures. And my sister had very long hair. I'm 43 and I still talk about it. That explains your career choice, Mrs. Fluffer. That explains it. Why you're so good at what you do, too. Dolo says, CW's outfit matched as well. I was all in at that point. Was that the pink shirt? I made a video about the pink shirt one time. I'm not against anyone. If a guy wants to wear a pink shirt, that's, hallelujah on him. But I have a feeling Christopher Watts would not have picked out that pink shirt. Although that pink shirt wasn't half as bad as that elf costume. Like, all you got to see is that elf picture and you go, I'm thinking. She had plenty of time to do hair and makeup, Pixel. The hubby was at work and the kids were at daycare full time. Aw, Samantha said she had a horrible birth giver too. I'm sorry, you guys. But you guys have broken the cycle. And remember, too, that sometimes your birth givers maybe just didn't know. Society had so many changes going on. The roles of women were so blurred and confused, and there were stay-at-home moms fighting with career moms, and I remember one time back in the 80s, a local little celebrity with one of the television stations, she became a mom, and she kept her career. And she was getting lambasted by people in the area for heading back to work after her baby was born. And then one time she had like 2 or 3 kids and she was still working. And she actually made the statement that she was a full-time career, person. She was a news anchor, actually. She was a full-time news anchor and she was also a full-time mom. And the stay-at-home moms went ballistic, absolutely ballistic. And then I remember when one gal who actually had a successful political career, I don't think because of anything she ever brought to the table, but she had a dad, I think, who was instrumental with a lot of connections. But she and I had the same babysitter. And I knew it, like from my babysitter and from my children. I knew it that she only dropped off her kids like 2 days a week so she could go do lunches with her friends, right? Or her power lunches or whatever she called them. Like, she did not have a career, okay, at all. But in her election, she wanted to like cater to the working moms, right? So she all of a sudden during the election decided that she was a working mom too. Well, she got called out on it, right? And then I think they produced like a time card from her dad's business saying, oh yeah, she worked. Well, I happen to have known from her schedule of dropping her kids off at the babysitters that her work consisted of doing 2 power lunches a week. And I think she may have gotten her hair done one of those times too. So, I mean, if you do have a birth mom who is kind of like not quite, or I don't know, if you still hold her in your heart about anything as far as your birth mom, maybe dig in and read up on all the changing times. The 60s, the 70s, the 50s, even the 60s, the 70s, hell, even the 40s, right? Women have gone through so many confusing times that I think it really has changed parenting. Here's a little tidbit for you that I don't know if any of you know. back in the day, when was it? Like the 90s, early 90s, there were women who were nurses, okay, educated, college educated, successful women who were nurses. There was one case in particular that made the news big time. I'm talking probably 92, I'm guessing 1992, who lost primary custody of their children because of their work schedule. That was a real thing going on. That was a real thing. That was considered in a custody battle. That mom was working nights at the hospital, and that was a key factor in awarding full custody to the dad. Can you imagine that? Going through a divorce and being a nurse and working nights and finding out that that could be used against you in a custody battle? I mean, things were shifting and changing so much that I think it's sad that adult women are holding hurt in their hearts. So I would just say, if you're holding hurt in your hearts about your birth mom, dig in and learn more about the zeitgeist of whatever era your mom grew up in, whatever era you were raised in, and really examine the changing roles for women. Sandy says, Samantha, you will be 35th from the top. Well, I think by the end of this live stream, really, because we're just going to go ahead and say it. And you know how it works with the case of Christopher Watts. You just say whatever you want, and then, of course it's true. Samantha's highly successful with all the MLMs she signed up for in the last 5 minutes. Pixel says, Samantha, I want toxic PVC products, please. Then shake, no bake toddler bars. I don't even think those bars are supposed to be given to kids, are they? Yes, Samantha, then you can be rich just like the Watts. You can be highly successful. Ooh, Secret Weapon says, adopting a kid to abuse and telling her you're the mother is far worse, and goes on. Dolo says, Bella was so timid and backward. In several videos, you could see her following Cece's lead. That's very odd that the older child would look to the younger sibling for a cue. Very odd. I think Bella was living in fear, quite frankly. Pixel says, let's buy a house we can't afford with 2 sets of impossible stairs for kids and a new baby. The Immaculate Conception, according to Cindy Watts. Oh, Sandy says, I had crooked bangs and buck teeth. What a looker. And probably red cable knit knee socks, too. Ms. Batsker says, I had the same bangs with a little slant to them. It's called the kitchen chair approach, right? You knew when you were supposed to sit on that one, like 2-step stool thing, you knew it was haircut time. It was either haircut time or what is it you guys called it? The princess ponytail time. That was every morning. Manifold says, I'm not a bot. I was wondering if you were going to reply to that, Manifold. Secret Weapon has a colic. Oh, Sandy says, oh gosh, I'm typing from my phone. Forgive me for the typos. Exactly, Secret Weapon. All little girls want long hair. Samantha says she's the queen of typos, but she's pregnant, so she can get away with it. We'll give Sandy a hard time because she isn't pregnant. So she doesn't have the excuse of fluctuating hormones. Mrs. Flover says, my mom also had short hair all of her life. So she was like continuing the pain that she carried. She was going to conquer that issue. Paul says Turpin family vibes with those outfits. Can you imagine like how his manhood would have just been stripped day after day after day? Like, he probably dreaded holidays, right? He's probably like, oh shit, there's a photographer. You know, he would have been worried that the credit card wouldn't work for the photographer to begin with, right? They all matched like one big Thrive patch. You guys are in a mood tonight. Samantha says, yes, my kids are my world. It made me a better person because I know how to treat others. What was in that patch? I wonder. Oh, Sandy says that her phone has a mind off its own. I'm just teasing you. Oh, Sandy. Caffeine, caffeine, more caffeine. Yes, Pixel. Helen Gurley Brown. Is that the bring home the bacon theory? You can bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan. A stress video on Dieter. Ooh, interesting. I don't know. I don't have to be a world-renowned professional dog behaviorist to tell you that I think the dog never got a walk. And, you know, dogs like to go for a walk. Oh, wow. Mrs. Fluffer said, I had the opposite. My parents didn't want to spend money on health care. I had to be dying to go to the doctor. My sister had heart surgery. Ooh, that's not funny. At 23 from a birth defect that should have been fixed by 1. Wow. Well, I'm glad she got the surgery at age 23 and that everything went well. That's good. I do think that back in the day, you know, we didn't take our kids to the doctor. We took them once a year for their well child checkup. But not everybody did that. I did, but not everybody did. You were kind of hoity-toity if you had a, you know, regular routine with the best pediatrician in town. I found out who the chief of staff of pediatrics was at the best hospital in town. And I called his office and said, hi, I'm having a baby. That's who my OB suggested. And since I had the best OB in town, I got to have the best pediatrician in town for my kids too. But even then, I mean, once a year, well child checkups. You know, if your kids got a cold or had the flu or something, you took care of them. It wasn't a doctor visit, for Pete's sake, or definitely not an emergency room visit. Yes, Paul, I think he did have a bed. I think it was a crate down in the basement. I don't know. Just my gut feeling on the whole Dieter thing is that she probably just let him out of the crate when it was time to make a video. Secret Weapon, the name of the dog actually is, I think the dog was named before they got it. And it was given to them by a family whose last name sounded something like it. Oh, Sandy says you're not supposed to be wearing those patches or taking that stuff while pregnant either. And that's kind of like common sense 101, I would think. I can't imagine any OBGYN saying, sure, go ahead. Use whatever strange products that we don't know what the contents or what the ingredients are. Sure. Samantha says, nope, I'm good. It only eats you alive. You have to rigoberto for yourself? What the heck is rigoberto? And want to not put any more hurt in the world. Well, there's also a way to say, and I don't know this for each and every person, okay? I don't know this, but if there's a way that these words can resonate with you, to say she did her best. There's something to be said for somebody who did their best. And whether her best was hurtful or not, if she did her best, or maybe she did the best given whatever circumstances, or maybe she did as she was taught to do, or whatever, okay? I don't know what words work, but if there is a way to soften the blow a little bit, I know from living through those decades, I know that women were constantly being attacked. If you chose to be a stay-at-home mom, you were being attacked. If you chose to have a career, you were being attacked. And you know who was attacking them? It wasn't men. It was other women. I'm sorry, but I think women's lib really was not always a good thing. Because I think women pretty much kind of bought into a program there where they not only were able to have careers, but pretty much it became mandatory. You know, a one-income home is getting more and more rare, right? Secret Weapon says, I only put good in the world and don't allow parasites to parasite me since 2019. They can find a new addiction. So 2019 was the magic year. Awareness is key. Mrs. Fluffer says, that's what I think. Oh, Sandy. Oh, Sandy said maybe she favored Cece, I think is what she said, because she was more like her. And Mrs. Fluffer saying, that's what I think. Oh, Sandy, she didn't like Bella. I think she did not like Bella. Secret Weapon says, let the haters eat themselves alive with envy. Oh, Sandy says, I agree, Mrs. Fluffer. Mrs. Fluffer says, I was at Walmart for 3 hours today. I'm wild. Settle down, girl. Oh, that's cute. I actually went into, not a Walmart, but a Midwest equivalent last night. I usually go to the one by my house, but I went to the one across town. And it's a long story why I was across town. It's a really long story, and it's so ridiculous. OMG. It's so ridiculous. I bought this dress at another one in a different city, okay? I bought this dress. And then at another one in a different city, I bought another dress. Both of these dresses were for the same event. And then, and the event was this morning, then, and it was like a holiday event. So it was like a holiday dress. So it isn't just like a dress that I bought for work or something, right? And then when I headed out yesterday morning, I didn't realize it until I was heading out that the weather was going to be an issue, even though I had the clue, because when I got out of the shower, my hair was super curly. I didn't investigate before I left the house. So I'm tooling down the driveway, suddenly realizing, wait a minute, I better not be looking at my phone because this driveway is kind of dicey right now. And I've had it happen before where if I'm looking at my phone and heading down the driveway and it's kind of dicey and I'm not paying close attention, then my car can take off and head right into a snowbank. So I put my phone down, both hands on the wheel, 10 and 2, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to get stuck. I didn't get stuck, but it's only because I put my phone down and put my hands on the wheel 10 and 2 and paid attention. There were like grooves because there was evidently some melting going on, but there was then some freezing going on, and there was still the wind blowing, and they were saying, I found out later that the wind gusts were going to be 45 mile per hour wind gusts and all this other crap, right? So there I am. You guys know I live in the middle of the woods, right? Like, I don't see the severe weather because the trees keep the severe weather away from me. So I'm tooling down the driveway going, oh no. Kind of like feeling like I was plowing through a whole bunch of slush and icky and whatever, and it was icy and it was terrible. And there were a couple of ruts that kept grabbing my tires, and I was just like, oh crap. And I'm thinking about the shoes that I was wearing, thinking, oh no, because I thought for sure I'd be walking a long distance in the snow and ice. Well, I made it out of the driveway. And right at the end of the driveway, I had to kind of gun it to make it out of the end of the driveway, right? Ugh. I made it out of the driveway. And you know, I only have like 2 seconds to look to the left too at that point. And if a car would have been coming, I wouldn't have made it out of the driveway. I would have been stuck right there and then. So thankfully there wasn't a car or a truck coming. And I gunned it, zoom, made it out of the driveway. And I'm like, yes, until I realized the road was just as bad as my driveway. So I continued the plow action with a little car with no plow for 2 miles. 2 miles. And there's a big hill in that 2 miles stretch. I'm going up the hill so careful, oh my gosh. And I had to be kind of toward the middle because the ruts and the ice and the snow and the rain and the wind and blah, blah, blah. And I just was pretty much really hoping that nobody would be coming up the other side of the hill because I was a little bit too far over to the left, toward the center. But if you go a little bit to the right, you know, there's this like big ditch right there. When you can see tree tops, you probably don't want to slide that direction, right? So I made it onto the pavement and went, yes, I made it, right? But then it meant, like, how is I going to be able to go back home? So back to the dresses. Those 2 dresses that I bought for the event for this morning were at home. The wind was blowing, the snow was coming down, the roads were slick. It was a Saturday. My computer was at home too. But I knew if I tried to go back home that I wouldn't make it to the event this morning, especially because the temperatures were dropping and all that slush and crap on the road was going to turn to ice even more. So I did what every wimp does. You know, we act like we're surprised that it snowed, right? I mean, it is the winter. But I did what every wimp does. Instead of trying to barrel back up the driveway with confidence that I'd be able to get out this morning, I got a hotel room. So last night I thought, and I actually kind of enjoyed it, by the way. I kind of enjoyed it. It was nice. So last night, because the main roads are fine. Well, they became fine later in the day. But last night I thought, whoa, wait a minute, my dresses. Oh, ooh, what am I going to do? Because it was going to get even colder and freeze, and it was already icy, and oh my gosh. So I went to that store thinking I'm just going to have to buy one of those dresses and hope that they even have something like, whatever. Well, then a friend of mine offered to go get my stuff for me because he knows how to drive on ice. So he went and got my stuff for me after I found another dress. And then he got my computer and stuff for me and my 2 dresses. So that was cool. And I stood there in that hotel room trying on these dresses and going, nah. So I have 3 dresses to return. Because the one I was wearing yesterday is the one I decided to wear, which meant I was hand washing at the hotel. There's my story. The moral of the story is that if you live in the Midwest, then you should definitely have plans to be a snowbird so that when it snows, you're living in the sunshine states. That's the moral of the story. Oh, Sandy says, my parents thought castor oil was the cure-all. Actually, Sandy, it was for a lot of things. It actually was. There are some people who do believe that actually was what brought an end to the measles problem. My grandma was an RN and she thought castor oil was the cure-all too. Samantha says, better late than never, Mrs. Fluffer. Oh, cod liver oil. You're right. Cod liver oil, I think, is the one my grandma thought was great. I think it was cod liver oil that was instrumental in helping with the measles thing. Paul says, I only remember going with tonsillitis. There you go, Paul. Back in the day, I think parents would have been embarrassed to have their kids at the doctor all the time. I think even nowadays, I think it would be embarrassing. If you're out there saying how you're super successful and you sit on your ass all day while your kids are in daycare and your husband's at work, if you're taking your kids to the emergency room, I really do think other people are giving you the side eye. Why the emergency room? Talk to pediatricians about their opinions about this. They're not impressed by parents who wait until 4:45 to call the office. They're not impressed by parents who take kids into the emergency room either. Oh my goodness. Pixel says that her mom drove 5 hours to force her to drink a whole bottle of cod liver oil because her first baby was 19 days late. Okay, that's kind of weird. Wench says, we had baby clinic at the doctor's surgery every Tuesday afternoon. You didn't need to go every week. It was like a drop-in. Mrs. Fluffer says, I ate Dimetapp. That grape shit. Dimetapp came on the market. I'm guessing, when did Dimetapp hop on the counters? Late 70s, maybe? I'm not sure. Late 70s, early 80s. I don't know, maybe late 70s. All of a sudden, that was like the big deal, right? And then after that, or maybe during that same time frame, that's when all of a sudden you started hearing about how so many kids had to have tubes in their ears, right? Mrs. Fluffer says, I had severe allergies and suffered. I took my daughter to a top specialist for hers for 5 years. My mom says she was young and didn't know. In fairness to your mom on that, Mrs. Fluffer, that Dimetapp was promoted heavily by the pediatricians, and the whole tubes in the ears thing was a fad there for a while too, a huge fad. Oh, okay, here we go. Dean says, I think it's disgusting how you court attention from the misery and death inflicted on that poor family. The dead cannot defend themselves. Well, Dean, do you think Cindy Watts can defend herself? Do you think all the people being targeted by the scumbag attackers can defend themselves? Your BS rhetoric doesn't work. The dead cannot defend themselves? What? Do you talk about Hitler in the history books? He's dead. He can't defend himself, right? Are you okay with the fact that there are so many people talking about the case of Stephen Avery thinking he's not guilty? Is that okay? Or do you run over there and spew your venom and tell him to stop talking about the case? Huh? Misery and death inflicted on that poor family? Well, Dean, on this channel, we discuss what poor little Bella and Cece suffered through in their short little lives. And if you don't care about Bella and Cece, then shame on you. Yes, Paul, the Grinch, the monster. Wench says, go up on panel, Dean. We might find out that Dean is a Dina. Wench says, I think it's disgusting how Bella and Cece were treated, Dean or Dina. Oh, Sandy says, you should start writing suspense because I somehow get anxiety while you tell your stories. Yeah, driving down the driveway is a story, let me tell you. Maybe I should tell you about the time I had a kidney stone and I was driving down the driveway. And that time I did go into the snowbank, and that was terrible. I was literally on my way to go to get help to go to the doctor to get help because of the pain I was having from a kidney stone. And I didn't know at the time that it was a kidney stone. I just knew I was in pain. And I didn't drive into a snowbank. My car drove into a snowbank. Just like if you ever hit a deer, you didn't really hit the deer hit you. I have a good story about the suicidal deer one day on the highway. I'm telling you, the deer was suicidal. Miss Badsker says, well, Mensa, your evening was much more thrilling than mine, which was spent with 3 badly behaved Yorkies and an elderly mom. Oh, I didn't know that. So SW says that Thrive is the new cod liver oil. It cures all health challenges. Keyword cure. She told 2 people at least that she was cured. Paul says, court attention? Oh, bad, Dean or Dina. Notice Dean or Dina is not hopping up on panel. Wait, I should put the thingy in there. Hold on. Copy, paste, enter. There, Dean or Dina, feel free to hop up. Let's talk. Kelly Girl says, the oddest thing I saw in my town, Las Vegas, was a showgirl, Elvis, and Darth Vader waiting for a bus downtown. Oh my gosh. Las Vegas, I tell ya, that was an interesting vacation, a very interesting vacation. The flight alone was very interesting because I don't know if this was the only day ever that it snowed in Las Vegas, but we were flying into snow on the runway. So that was kind of fun, I guess. And then the flight back, there was, I think it was Super Bowl Sunday. It was some kind of big game. I think it was Super Bowl Sunday. And our pilot was a total comedian, man. And he was given the rundown on the game the whole way. It was like a party bus is what it was. I'm thinking pretty much, because I'm not a drinker, I'm thinking pretty much that I was probably one of the very few people on the plane who were thinking, please stay off the intercom and just fly the plane. Because he was into that game. He must have had some money riding on the outcome. I enjoyed the downtown area. I thought that was really fun, and they had the light show and everything. I did not enjoy the taxi ride from the strip where we had the hotel down to the downtown area. That taxi driver was wild, like wild. That was a ride, let me tell you. And enough that it was kind of, while we were downtown enjoying ourselves, it was kind of like, how are we going to get back? You know, we're going to have to call a taxi to go back. That was scary. And you could tell the taxi driver enjoyed scaring us. It was pretty scary. And we saw, I think it was the Blue Man Group. That was interesting. It wasn't all that interesting, but it was interesting because, you know, we heard all about them, right? Can't remember the other shows. I don't know. It was a long time ago. Long time ago. Yes, Paul, I agree. I wish this had gone to trial. Oh, Sandy said you did tell us that kidney stone story. Well, I'm old, Sandy, so I'm going to repeat myself, okay? Pixel says, sounds okay, Ms. Badskirt. Company and grateful companions and MM chat with funny friends. Winch says, I remember the kidney stone story, and I had 8, and you had green beans that day. Oh, I did tell you the story then. Yeah, the magnificent, I can't talk. The magnificent metabolism doctor. Yeah, eat fewer green beans. How about I forget the whole special metabolism routine altogether, since I had never had a kidney stone before in my life. Ugh. I'm here to tell you there is something known as too much protein in your diet. If you go to some specialist and they have you on some kind of, you know, beef broth diet, say, well, I'm not trying to give you any medical advice or anything. Do what you want to do. But I don't know, if you get a kidney stone, don't come whining to us. Louisiana says, I'm late, but what did SW mean when she told her friends that she had a way to deal with a money issue on Monday, but Chris wasn't going to like it? Who knows what she ever meant? I don't know. A woman nearly dropped dead when she was visiting a grave and Batman went past on his motorbike. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. For any of you who just got here, Samantha is 35th from the top in the MLM. She's highly successful. And if you're lucky, she'll let you be in her downline. That could be Paul talking about moving in another Thrive family, when in fact, I think she was moving out. Yes, it was more like an Airbnb than a family home. I agree. Pixel says, who needs Lavelle with that many stairs? I don't think exercise was a thing. And remember, I think she pretty much stayed in the room on the main floor. Christy still irons. Good for you, Christy. I was ironing in the hotel. Good for you. Ironing is actually a really like a therapeutic exercise. Seriously. You know, earlier when I was talking about the changing roles of women and everything, I think that a lot of the stresses, the stressors, the anxiety, you know, a lot of the, I don't know what, maybe PMS even, or the newly created PMDD. I think a lot of the emotional whatever that maybe younger women may experience, I think could be helped with ironing. I really do. If you've never been a person who irons, seriously, do it. It's very relaxing. It really is. Ooh, Samantha has to keep still, so we can't make her laugh. Don't laugh, Samantha. Do not laugh. Oh, Sandy says, Samantha, I'm super excited. Pixel says, and Paul, shove your bullied parents into the basement with no exit door or bathroom and charge them rent. Imagine hearing SW stomping about upstairs. I don't know. How do we know that there was rent? I don't know. I don't know. Isabella Sky says, I don't even own an iron. Should we do a fundraiser? We could do a GoFundMe for Isabella. Or you should just sign up quick under Samantha, because then you could get rich and you could buy an iron. Yes, irons were much heavier in the old days. But it's good therapy. It seriously is. If nothing else, you just have time where you're moving. You know, action conquers fear. You have time where you're focusing on, you know what I mean? I won't tell you who, but a close family member, older than me, had a theory and spouted his theory for many years that the world started to go to hell in a handbasket when the washing machine was invented. Isabella says, my grandma irons her sheets. Like, why even? I can tell you why, because it's good therapy. Seriously, that's cool that your grandma loves to iron. That's good. Yes, Christy's proud to be an ironer. Oh, Sandy irons her husband's uniforms. I'm not kidding you guys. It sounds flaky. Maybe it does, whatever. But if you have any sort of like stress or whatever, go get yourself an iron, get yourself an ironing board. Try it. You'll like it. You really will like it. Christy does not iron her underwear, and she felt that we needed to know that. Tennyson, that's interesting. It was done to disinfect the fabric. Interesting. I'm telling you, I know it's true. If you have any sort of stress in your life, and we all do, then go get yourself an iron. Buy yourself an iron for Christmas. Get an early Christmas present. Iron for even just 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes a day. You can turn on whatever to listen to it, music, the telly, whatever you want to listen to. And iron 30 minutes a day. And you are going to think to yourself within a very short time, wow, I like ironing. Well, the close family friend with the theory that the world was going to hell in a handbasket ever since the washing machine was invented made the point. And it's a valid point for somebody who didn't have any degree in psychology or anything. But that chore of washing clothes by hand, that chore was very time consuming. You know, focus, necessary, purpose driven, right? The washing machine freed up a lot of time. Think about that. Think about it. I'm curious if any of you go get yourself an iron and an ironing board and you start ironing and you find that you like it, definitely let us know. Oh, Sandy says, I used to straighten my daughter's hair with a hot comb on the stove. I bet the scumbag attackers who are lurking to listen to see what we say, I bet they're like really bored right now when we're talking about ironing. So I just took a look. We're over 2 hours. And I'm thinking, if you guys don't mind, we should call it a night and say goodnight, John Boy. And we should pick up with the discussion tomorrow. And I think we should stay right on the issue of who was driving that gray truck. And why is it over 3 years after the tragedy happened and we're saying who was driving that gray truck? If there was a gray truck there, which the next door neighbor said there was, at 5:15 a.m. and still there at 6:45 and still there at noon, then why don't we know yet who it was who was staying at the house? You know my theory. I think it was moving day. Ooh, Ms. Badskirt has a fun fact here. Many deaths were attributed to falling in the river while you were doing your laundry. I had never heard that before. Okay, don't go to the river to do your laundry. Oh, wow. Pixel says, I remember an external laundry next to the staff kitchen on a pub we lived in. Dual concrete sinks and a wringer to drag the line through. 1969, circa 1969. I remember getting my thumb stuck in the wringer washer when I was a kid. That was fun. It wasn't fun. I'm kidding. Yes, Miss Badskirt says, good night, everyone. Oops. Click good night, all. Get a peaceful night's sleep. Paul says pizza and leftover candy. Last meal. Aw. Cold pizza. That's so sad. Ms. Badskirt heard that little tidbit on Absolute History. Well, I'm glad you guys were all here. Samantha and baby, stay healthy. Keep us posted. We'll check in again tomorrow with y'all. And remember, if you want to sign up for the MLM, Samantha is highly successful, and she would be happy to welcome you to her downline. Everyone have a good night. Be safe, be healthy, and know that you are loved.